You've just gotten coffee at a dingy little diner, a low-key place where you had to wipe the dirty mug before taking a sip. Everything in Gotham's a little rough around the edges, but you're not expecting glitz and glamour. You're here on a work trip, and after walking around a bit during the day, you recognize its dark and edgy character. You head outside after it's just been raining and it's freezing. An unholy breeze smacks you in the face, and you just want to go back to your warm hotel. You turn the corner, and to your pleasant surprise, an alleyway serves as a shortcut to your safe haven. But there's something kind of sinister about this alleyway. Something feels off. You notice a tuft of blonde hair from a woman as she's crouched in the shadows. Not too far behind is another woman with a sharp fedora-looking hat on, holding a gun in your direction. A swift turn of your head and you see two pointy ears and a sleek black mask across a brunette's eyes. Next to her, a remarkably attractive woman with fair skin, long black hair, and purple eyes looms nearby. And finally, a sinister smile. Those white blonde pigtails with the pink and blue tips and tattoos everywhere that the whole world's come to recognize, faces you dead on. You haven't done anything to arouse suspicion, but you've had the immense pleasure of finding yourself faced with the birds of prey. An intense squad made up of Black Canary, Renee Montoya, Cassandra Cain, Huntress, and Harley Quinn. They're tough, to put it lightly, ready to fight, and don't trust you. Black Canary, the first one you saw, is actually a woman named Dinah Lance. She's known for her high-pitched scream, but she tries to use it sparingly. High-pitched might be putting it lightly though, because this sound, dubbed her canary cry, is made up of ultrasonic vibrations or high-frequency sounds that are beyond the scope of what an average human can hear. This scream is such a superpower that it can shatter organic and inorganic objects, including metals, and gives her the power to glide across distances. Because you're human, you wouldn't be able to withstand the sheer power of the canary cry. So let's hope this altercation doesn't push her there in any way. But you'll be cautious and try not to push her there once you see what else she's got up her black leathered sleeve. There are a couple conflicting theories behind Black Canary's shrieking superpowers. Some postulate that it was because she was cursed by a wizard, while others think she's already had superhuman ability at birth. And some think the scream was a result of when Team 7, a military special operations unit, experimented on her by supplementing her with genes from Ditto, a mutant alien who can duplicate herself. Knowing the sheer power of her cry, opponents often gag her in an attempt to stifle it. She's decided to hone her martial arts skills as a backup though, and she specializes in hand-to-hand combat. She's also a skilled boxer, a result of being trained by Ted Grant, who mentored her in several different techniques. Her fighting tenacity is also a result of her rough upbringing. Her mother eventually died of radiation exposure, so she became a foster kid and was eventually taken by Demond Lamar, who trained her in the martial arts. Her mother was also the original Black Canary, and her daughter, who so desperately wanted to be a superhero, took her costume despite her objections at 19. Lance's earth-shattering pipes have gotten her places aside from combat. She specializes in rockabilly and rock music. She's the lead singer of a band, aptly also named Black Canary, and they've released 2 EP albums. Renee Montoya, the Latina still holding that terrifying gun in your face, is the detective of the group, who's garnered the nickname The Question. She's got a no-nonsense personality, a lot of it due to her days as a cop at the Gotham Police Department, but gave up that path when she realized how corrupt the whole force was. She's also originally from Gotham, so her deep familiarity of its every turn is a huge asset. In order to evade her, you're gonna have to be unpredictable, because she's not only a skilled markswoman, she's also intensely familiar with the criminal mind, so she can predict people's moves. So you might want to think as quickly as you can to see if you can beat her. Case in point, to describe how much of a mastermind she is, she's been able to detect patterns within global crime rings and make sense of cryptic texts. She'll stealthily go undercover in order to pick up on information, like the one time she snuck her way into a creepy cult led by a woman named Corrigan, but perhaps with enough trickery and creativity you'll be able to break free from the grasp she's probably already got on you, as she's sizing you up while the seconds go by. Cassandra Cain, Orphan or Batgirl, is your next opponent. Speaking of those in the group who can sniff out your every move, you're gonna have to watch out even more for this one. And a lot of that is because of her backstory. You won't hear a peep from her because she's mute, but don't underestimate her for a minute. She was raised by David Kane, an assassin who completely mistreated her, depriving her of human contact, and who never taught her how to read or write. Instead, he taught her fighting techniques that sharpened her ability to read body movements and therefore anticipate what a person will do. Kane's childhood is marked by violence. When she was 8, David took her to kill a businessman, and while she didn't know what exactly was going on, it was her first real exposure to death. This was also when she fled from her evil caretaker and spent the next 10 years living on the streets, kinda like Black Canary, before being snapped up to serve for Oracle, a covert operation run by Barbara Gordon, a former vigilante who's now wheelchair-bound. It looks like you're gonna have a hard time trying to outmaneuver Kane unless you can somehow whip out some major martial arts skills from out of nowhere. While she has no superhuman powers, she's proficient in Jeet Kune Do, a non-fixed form of martial arts that's come to be associated with Bruce Lee, Muay Thai, which uses specific parts of the body like shins, knees, elbows, and fists, and Ninjutsu, the type of fighting used by ninjas in guerrilla warfare. Huntress, or Helen Bertinelli, is the raven-haired beauty who you're simultaneously transfixed by but also petrified of. She's the daughter of Catwoman and Batman, so just right off the bat genetically you know she's a lot to be faced with. To try to outdo this one, you're gonna have to muster all the speed and agility you've got, so I hope you're limbered up. She's also a force to be reckoned with after all she's been through. When she was just a kid, a criminal coerced her mom to continue being Catwoman, which resulted in her mother being killed. Helena set out to avenge her mom's death, making a costume and fashioning some weapons out of what her parents had, one of which included her crossbow, which became her signature weapon. And finally, Harley Quinn, otherwise known as Harleen Quinzel, appears to be the last foe you're going to want to try to outsmart, but it's going to prove itself to be nearly impossible. Quinn wasn't always the fast-talking, brash character. At one point, long time ago, she was an intern at Arkham Asylum, the psychiatric hospital. Part of her mental expertise has to do with this psychiatry training. So, like the other characters we've mentioned, she'll be able to aptly predict what you're gonna do, which will leave you frantically searching for a way to throw her off. So, back to her time at the asylum. She met the Joker there and became utterly obsessed, which led her to try to help him escape. The whole plan goes up in flames when she's caught, but then she escapes to find her Puddin'. So she'll do anything for the man she's obsessed with. She has no real superpowers, but she's immune to most toxic environments because of an injection she received, which also made her stronger and have more stamina. She carries around a mallet and knows what to do with it. She's also nimble and agile. Before she was injected, she was an expert gymnast with an exceedingly high IQ. So there's the breakdown of your odds against the current Birds of Prey squad. Hope that you can learn martial arts out of thin air, be as unpredictable as possible, and outlive a canary cry that shatters the earth. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time on The Infographics Show.